Welcome, Tony. If you can hear this,
Hi.
send out a message via Morse code.
Boop, boop.
P.O. Box. This should be a nice, hopefully, nice relaxed show. It's no crime to get upset over the not confessing of or anything like that.
Tap,
Oh,
tap.
there's the tapping. I know Tony's there.
Tap, tap.
Tapping Tony. Is
What about the dash? What
There's
dashes?
dots and dashes. There's no tapping.
Tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, that's just him hitting his pen on the desk, like dots and dashes.
So can you hear us, though? That's not an answer. Tapping is not an answer.
Well, I mean, if he did not hear us, the tapping unprovoked would be wildly coincidental.
Or he's just waiting, so he's impatiently tapping his pen on the desk.
I'll take your answer in the comments.
In Morse code.
Give Roman numerals. Oh, there we go. Morse code. Beep, B, beep, beep, beep. So that's more like the dots and dashes. Obviously, if I'm replying. Well, Jesus. Yell at me, why don't you?
Yeah.
Whale, right? You guys like TCAP.
Whale.
Whale, yell at me, why don't you? Dear God, there are... I'll fess up. I do not get the Church of Quad. I don't understand why Lauren is such a compelling figure. Because to me, he is a fucking flatline.
They all are.
Sassy Tap and Tony on the twos. I want to... Let me run this up your flagpole, Tony. Completely unrelated, but I want to do a review of the Birdcage. With Rob Williams and Nathan Lane. What was I going to say before that? I don't know. Forget it.
They're all... I think all of the TCAT people are boring as shit.
Oh, yeah, Lauren. I don't think there's some of them that are interesting characters that are like, they're more bizarre. Like I get, Lauren handed so much material over. Oh gosh.
Tony's never seen it.
Are we talking about TCAP or are we
the
talking about?
Birdcage.
Oh, what? Okay.
I'm assuming the Birdcage.
So the AI app I'll talk about because I've used a few over the months that I've been using AI art. Check out the Birdcage. My God. I watched it on VHS as a child dozens of times. It was one of my favorite movies. And if I can find a copy, it probably still is to this day.
I've never seen it either.
So good. Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are a fucking comedy, masterpiece. And Hank Azaria is in it as like this houseboy. Oh my God. So funny.
Well, when you first said the Birdcage, I was like, the place in Tombstone?
The Birdcage, it's a drag theater in the movie. It's called the Birdcage.
Oh. I'd watch it.
It's got what you'd call, or back in the day, I don't know what you'd call it, but today it has homosexual overtones. Because everybody's gay in it. Robin Williams plays Nathan Lane's partner, and it centers around their... So Robin Williams has a son from a previous marriage, and he's getting married. What up, RJ Snacks?
Hi.
And it's to a senator's daughter, so they need to put on a family dinner to get this thing going, and then after they're married, whatever. I guess no one cares. So they try to get his real mom to do this dinner, and she can't make it, like, not of her own volition. Like, she's a nice person. She just can't make it. So it becomes a zany, farcical affair where Gene Hackman, as the senator, is treated to a dinner by Robin Williams and Nathan Lane in drag. And the Hank Azaria character, who is like very effeminate and can't wear shoes because he constantly falls down, is their servant. And like one of the gags that they do is like when they're sitting down to dinner, like they're sitting down to this soup, this bouillabaisse that Hank Azaria made, who doesn't know how to cook. So there's like whole eggs and shrimp and shit in it. But they're sitting around the table awkwardly, trying to fill the time. And they look down at their place settings, and like they're very gay place settings. Like they're depictions of ancient Greek sexual acts, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, they like as that realization starts to happen to everybody at the table, Nathan Lane's like, "Oh, I think I've got a girl on mine. Don't you have a girl?" Like then Robin Williams runs into the kitchen, grabs the big pot of shit and ladles it out to everybody, and they all think it's disgusting. But I can't do it justice. It's a great movie. And I love gay people, so it's a 1-2 punch for me.
Awesome. Well, then maybe we will have to do a review on it.
One of
Tony sees it.
One of my favorite movies that I can remember from VHS. I had a very strange and eclectic. You had back then. You had whatever your parents brought home on DVD or native DVD. It's VHS. So I watched Noises Off a million times with Christopher Reeves, John Ritter, all-star cast, Michael Caine. Saw that a billion times. Saw 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, and what's her nuts a zillion times too. But what a weird childhood.
I don't think I've ever seen either of those.
Watching 9 to 5. In that movie, my favorite part of it was when so basically these 3 women abduct their boss because he's an asshole. And they put him in this bedroom, and the way they keep him locked up is with bondage gear and a when he gets out of hand, they install the garage door opener, so they just push the button and he gets zipped up to the ceiling.
Oh,
that is some hilarious shit too.
Is that where the song came from?
9 to 5. I would imagine. Otherwise, it was Amazing Kismet, or it was a movie based on a song. I cannot confirm literally anything I'm telling you, but the song in the movie exists. So, one, it might be a chicken and the egg or the egg. I don't know. But moral of the story is I think it's time to start the show.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Dave. This is FFOP Radio Live, as it were. You saw the title card. You know why you're here. We're going to gather around. We're going to talk about AI art because it seems to be, I don't know. Here's the thing. I guess I have to preface this because when everybody talks about Twitter and they say, "Oh, well, Twitter did this or Twitter did that," it's just their feed doing that. Every time somebody says, "Oh, did you see when Twitter did X?" I go, "No," because our Twitters must be wildly different. I never see anything that's on anybody else's Twitter following or whatever. Moral of the story is, at least in my feed, not social media or whatever, AI art has been a hot topic, even with personal friends of mine. There are people in an uproar about AI generated art. So I thought, well, let's talk about it because I obviously use it a ton. Every time you look at the thumbnail of one of these shows. Oh, Chris is here too, by the way. I got to get a script or something down for the opening. Chris is here as the producer.
Yeah, I'm here.
It's Flamingo Friday, everybody. Sorry for rushing into it. Let me chill out. Here I'm wearing flamingos. We're enjoying a nice homemade blueberry mead. 21 and up tubes. That's restricted, right? Anyway, if you don't get that reference, don't worry about it.
You probably don't.
I wrote up, so if you can't really see here, but I wrote up notes with subheadings and stuff because I was like, oh, I've got, given time, and I thought, well, I better write this stuff down. I thought, well, these actually fit together under this. So this is the first time I've ever taken a professional set of notes for a show ever. But I also want to invite you, if you're watching this or anytime in the future, what up, Kayla? I want you to put it in the typing square, either now or later, hashtag Flamingo Friday, if this, not today. But also, I'm going to be showing you basically a timeline of all my AI art stuff. So let me get that pulled up here. So you're basically going to be seeing everything because it all generates a weird random name that has the date embedded in it. And so by virtue of that, everything we see will be an accurate timeline of all the AI art that I've generated and saved. Now, I've probably generated 10 times this amount because that's the nature of the beast, is it pops out stuff that's essentially a zany grab bag of
Right. Like 17
whatever.
Weird feet.
Especially when you got in on it, too. Like, if before it was now like there's 40 or 50 apps that'll do it on your phone. Before that, and you had to go to like Dali or whatever, it was the Wild West, and it happened fast. So yeah, Kayla's sort of pointing to the nature of the beast here, because what I was actually looking for was Ice-T. The prompt I was like, the first prompts I were using was I wanted a robot in a street side cafe drinking a tall iced tea with lots of lemon. And as you can see,
You got tall people.
so I've got people in the back, like it got the cafe, right? It kind of got, you could maybe say this is tea, even though I think it's like crazy orange Fanta or some bullshit like that. Maybe you could say that's a lemon, even though I think it's an orange. And this is not a robot. It's like a facsimile. So obviously it fell short in a lot of ways, but I liked it so much that I kept it, even though I'll never use it. So I'll just let these sort of go through and I'll just give you my thoughts. But so the first thing I want to touch upon is the same thing that everybody does. Anytime something changes or shakes up an industry, we go, oh my God, this is fucked. Anybody remember Napster and like music sharing and stuff? And we all thought the world was going to explode because,
Like Pirate Bay, was that a thing too?
Pirate Bay probably still exists. Like torrenting is still a thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at, is like, it didn't kill anything, right? It changed things, but didn't kill anything. So I'm going to liken it to this. When I got into photography and really understood the nature of the beast of Photoshop, I feel like I had a lot of similar feelings to what my artist friends are having about AI generated art. Because as a photographer, I decided to align myself with the person who does everything in camera, because if you're going to be a photographer, you're capturing the world as it is. That's at least my interpretation of it. Because I love street photography. I love nature, like the wilderness and stuff. I love taking stuff in situ that is just sort of naturally happening. And so it is antithetical to me that Photoshop exists. Because why? And I still hold this opinion to a certain degree, even though I've softened on it. But it just feels like if it's just as easy to take random assets and throw them all in one image, like behind a computer, that does seem like kind of a cop-out. Because when I would love to get really heavy back into it, but when I was doing it, I went to extreme lengths to set up IRL in-camera stuff, because that to me was the art form, right?
Yeah.
I spent months setting up a little Friday the 13th versus Nightmare on Elm Street scene with miniatures, and I went up north, and Krista and I collected pine needles and pine cones and sticks and shit so I could make it a reel. And I bought a smoke machine. I should have had those pictures ready, but I didn't know I was going to talk about them. Sorry. But that could easily have been done by a Photoshop job. You would just have to grab all of those elements and throw it together really fast. And so, yeah, from that aspect, when it took me, hours and days, because beyond building the setup, I was cutting up pine needles with a pair of scissors to make them size appropriate or whatever, of the Middle North. Yeah, it was of the Middle North. Mm-hmm. Probably the first ever photograph of the Middle North was what I took. And I just, I understand the reason for Photoshop, and it won't ever replace the look of a real, scene or whatever. Like, CG exists, but so does stop motion. Like one didn't kill the other.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what we're getting with AI art. Is it feels like just a way to generate assets that, yeah, if your job is to generate those assets yourself, I can see, yeah, that's a bummer. But we move into a really dicey area of water. At least I think it might be, because art and commerce, when they come together, which side do you land on? The money or the artistic integrity?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that's an apt analogy. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but it to me at least, it felt like AI coming and doing its thing, because it's not like Photoshop just popped out of nowhere, right? Like, it didn't come out of Brahma's head into the world fully formed. Like, decades and people's time went into making Photoshop so that people could whip up shit really quick. So it's not like there's not work going into it. And even people who use Photoshop, like, that takes a skillful hand. Like, programming AI and I can tell you from personal experience, utilizing art to any degree that you need it to is difficult, because you can tell the AI what you want and it spits out garbage most of the time, right? So for every comment I post, there's 3 more I'm restraining myself from sharing. My caffeine high. Hey, if you got opinions, I'll take them. So, before I move on to my next segment, let's go through some of my art here. So I went on a flamingo iced tea robot kick for a bit. And here's the thing. These images are beautiful. I can't say they're not, because I save them and I enjoy them. But I don't know. There's no intrinsic value in them, right? Like, there's nothing I can do with them. Like, okay, so here's the thing. I wanted, a cosmic toad or whatever. It can't ever get limbs right. And that's another aspect, I think, that people, if you don't use it, like the ads and all the marketing for AI art makes it feel like you tell it one thing, like a short sentence of 3 to 7 words.
And then it's perfect.
And it pops out 8 splendid, perfect images of the exact thing that those words work.
Yeah. No.
It never does. Case in point, this is fucked up, and I saved it. Because the ones that were too fucked up to save, I should have saved to show you how fucked up they were. This is bonkers, but it's fine, because I feel like since I'm getting it for free, I can't, a beggar can't be a chooser, right? And, that's just it.
When I was using it, I would put in, I wanted a giraffe drinking coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. A giraffe sitting and drinking coffee. I got giraffes with 3 heads and coffee nowhere.
So that's the thing. Even though it was mere months ago, was still the Wild West. As you can see here, this was around Halloween, because I was looking for Halloween related stuff because I like the spooky shit. So this might even be a month before that. Mm-hmm. But I was looking for haunted houses in a swamp surrounded by flamingos. And look how many heads, and it just doesn't know. And that's from a while ago. That's wildly obvious that something is wrong. And you can see it as it progresses. I don't want to tip my hand, but see, it'll come out. If you look at it quick, you go, whoa, seemingly normal. Again, but then what am I going to use this for, right?
Behold the elusive double-billed flamingo.
You're going to about buckle up. If that was something, interest piquing, we're going to see some wild stuff. Now, you may have seen this. I used elements of this for the, the review for that Halloween movie with the witches from Disney.
Fucking
Hocus Pocus.
Yep, Hocus Pocus.
So I use this for Hocus Pocus, a nice masquerade, Halloween-y. And here's the thing, it's spooky and weird, and that's where I think it works for me the most. Is
and I think it's pretty.
Yeah, and then when you ask it for fucked up weird things, you expect weird things. But if you ask for anything that isn't slightly askew, if you're not asking for something uncanny or scary, you're going to be disappointed.
Well, and my profile picture on Facebook was exactly what I asked for. Well, overall, and I was surprised.
Sometimes you'll get that's the thing. It's like a lottery.
Yeah, I was not expecting to get a lady who looks similar to me, kind of, holding
this
an air
one-
plant.
I was using this for one of Baked Salmon's appearance. I was trying to get some sort of man salmon thing happening. And obviously there's no man in this. There's two fish that one kind of looks like a salmon flying through space in the woods. And like, what? I
Nice
love
balloon.
it. It looks great. Maybe I'll print it as a poster and you'll see it hanging back here one day. But, you know. And here's the thing. If I were to ask an artist to paint this, they'd be like, why, number one? And they'd say $7,000 or whatever.
I'll get it to you in 4 months.
Because, like, Jesus Christ, like, stunning, but pointless.
Yeah.
That's art. Oh, one of my flamingo-related superheroes. Look at that butt. And I always thought, oh, it's a tail, but it goes nowhere. So I don't know if it's like a long finger or maybe it's like a whip that's just sort of flicked up and the tip is behind the knee here, but
Maybe.
don't know. So next to my notes, I thought, okay, so what is literally at stake, right? Because if you're going to get mad that this is going to be taking things from somebody, I've got a couple examples. So again, it's like kind of like the Napster era. Back in the day when you were stealing people's music, it's the closest thing I can get because some humans got together, created music in an attempt to sell it. And so like mass replicating it and handing it out, you go, okay, there's people, who are out something because there was a product produced for some market and then, the market was exploited. This would be like AI art just sort of feels like if you just got a bunch of dudes who looked like Metallica into your garage and like recorded some tracks on whatever you had to hand, like your phone or an old 8-track or whatever. Because art is produced for a reason by and large, and those are going to be one of these two things, for money or for the expression of the artist and for no other reason. So that's just it. Like AI generated art, this all hinges upon what its commercial value is. Because, like, again, with the musicians like Metallica, the aforementioned Metallica, if they are going to, if Lars and James and everybody are going to be like, hey, we made this thing and everybody's stealing it, you go, well, that sucks. But AI art just seems to be filling in people's profile pictures and Instagrams and Twitters and stuff.
Right.
I would, if there's a place out there or if there's something out there where you go, okay, this is an example of artificial intelligence generated art used on a massive scale, I'll look, but I don't know if I've not found an instance of it.
No, and like you said, it's all like based around social media, how it's being used. I wouldn't take this picture, for example, and frame it
right
in my house.
I think that's where I think the disconnect is people who produce art either on paper or digitally or whatever. They go, well, what the fuck? Like, we make it and now like a machine just spits it out.
But they're not making a 2-necked flamingo. They're making something that's of value.
That's the thing. That's the that's the thing. What is the level offer is my next point. Is because I've been on both sides of this fence now. I've used AI stuff and I've used actual artists for like, the screen you're looking at, the flamingo in that sunburst, that vaporwave sunburst, was done by a dude I found on Twitter who did a great job.
Yeah.
And the thing about that was, I didn't have to just spit words into a vacuum. It comes up with something random and I go, no, try again. And then it got crazier and or wildly different, because that's the thing. If something barely misses the mark, that's as close as you'll get.
Well, yeah, and like something like that, like the logo and my logo for my business and stuff, you want something that's professional looking, that is done by somebody that you can promote in a professional way also. You're not going to have Mervin as your logo.
I might, because but I like the cheesy shit. And I think that's what, we can get to that later. But so it's a twofold experience here too. So it's like, what is the level is offered? It is as if you would go to a master butcher for some steaks for Sunday dinner, right?
Hey, Salmon.
What up, Salmon? Yeah, so like an artist, going to an artist to get something professionally drawn, inked, digitally produced by a human, that's like visiting an artisanal butcher with a big fat guy behind the counter with a very sharp, very well-maintained shop who gives you the best steaks in the world and will take, suggestions and or modifications, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas AI art is more like you go around to the back of that butcher shop where that butcher's like nephew who was visiting a farm and got kicked in the head by a mule, and now like for $17 will take care of an animal for you.
Right.
And after he's done, you take whatever the slop is home.
Yeah.
It's a wildly different experience, even though the concept springs from the same thing. The cow can be served to you exactly as you want it, in very little back and forth, and for oftentimes a very reasonable price. Or you can basically do what is lying on the ground. Maybe it's like not even the nephew. It might just be roadkill.
Right, or it's just like innards.
Yeah, because you're not getting, like, again, here, look at this. What is this? I couldn't use this, obviously. You never saw this anywhere. But it's interesting as hell. Thank you, Salmon, about my analogy.
Top tier, bro.
So there we go. So you have the finely curated experience versus a seemingly random experience. And then not only random, but the randomness is also like somewhat chaotic. So it's chaotic evil versus like lawful good, if you're falling on that spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So then I fall on the applications of this stuff, right? So here's this was the bathroom cougars. This is the bones of the bathroom cougar, because I was putting in bathroom cougar. And if you put in bathroom cougar, here's the thing. If you put in stuff like butt or boobs or ass or anything sexual or swearing, it'll go, no. We made you sit through the 30-second ad, and also, no, we're not making your thing. But the word cougar would give me an unlimited supply of naked middle-aged women facsimiles. Their faces were always horrifying homunculuses. Like, here's another bathroom cougar. Something is horribly wrong with him.
Yeah.
Couldn't use him, obviously.
He wouldn't live out in the wild.
Little problem with him. This one, I like. You know what? He's got some moxie. He's got that face going on with him.
Some attitude.
I think I used him somewhere, but what are you going to do? It just looks interesting. I like it'll throw in random details, and you can tell it's not done by a human. Like, I wonder if I can zoom in. Yeah, okay. So like it always signs the oil paintings. Like, what is this? It doesn't know language.
Just a scribble.
Yeah.
And back to what we were saying with like how people use this stuff on social media and things. If this wasn't a thing, like I love local art. I love supporting artists and everything like that. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't pay somebody to give me a profile picture. I would just use a random ass picture of myself instead of an
that's
AI
the thing. I think is because here's the thing. We're at the applications. What are the applications of AI art? I don't think because like, think about it this way. No matter how sophisticated the art, do you think that like any huge or small company is going to like roll the dice their logo or their promo material.
Right.
Like for the average person, it's barely good enough to just like spam as a goof.
Yeah.
Like this, for instance, where you're looking at here, I was trying to replicate RJ's urinal Bobcat. Urinal. Yeah, to his competing product to my bathroom cougar, his urinal Bobcat. And, beautiful looking within reason. I mean, there's always fucking crazy flaws and stuff. I shouldn't say beautiful, I should say interesting. And here's another reference to the show, The Murder Camera.
Oh, yeah.
There's the classic right there. Use that one. Applying for a job at 7-Eleven. I don't even think he could make it. It's not good enough.
No.
So that's the thing. Is like every time I see AI art, it's not in any professional context, or at least it's never been labeled to me as such. Every time I've seen it, it's been in Discord servers or social media sites or websites or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I would need to justify like the rage or at least the frustration from the side of the artist. I would need something showing that like, because again, we're in hypothetical territory. Stealing somebody's music, that is something that was made and is stolen. We're now saying that this is stealing work from artists. So that means that this work would have gone to artists, and are the people getting mad those artists, those jobs would have gone to? And what are these jobs, right? So it's straw man making a straw job, stealing the straw money from straw artists' mouths.
Right.
And again, I'm ignorant of the whole thing. So if it's a widespread problem and people are now using this caliber material, what you're seeing on your screen now.
Well, and not only that, like if people, like if you went to somebody and were like, I want you to make me this picture with this flamingo flying in the air, blah, 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 blah. And all these people that were wanting all these things that you can get AI generated that are coming out like this, all these artists are going to be completely backlogged. And for something that you can get almost instantly.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, I think this filled a niche that nobody knew existed. But since there's holes in everything for everybody to create something that we didn't realize we had a need for, this is one of those things. It scratches an itch you didn't realize you had, because it at the very least, like, it's a time waster. It's fun, at least to me, to feed a program some words and see the zany shit that pops out. Like, I was looking for a turtle flamingo hybrid in this. Didn't get it. This was the closest I got to a flamingo themed motorcycle. Didn't ask for a flamingo. Got one. And not only that, look at the saturation on its head. What happened there?
He stuck his head in some mud.
Yeah, didn't get what I asked for, but got something interesting nonetheless. That, whatever. I think that's another thing too, is like, I would go to an artist if I had something in mind that I definitely wanted, had my heart set on, and needed, like my logo.
Right.
I've gone to friends for logos for other shows. I've gone to people on Twitter for logos for other shows. And for any professional or even semi-professional, I wouldn't call what we do here professional, but for any application like this where, I'm going to try and put my best foot forward, I'm going to go to a person.
Right. Exactly.
Like, it's very fun to have goofy shit like this you're seeing. And don't get me wrong, I love Mervin. He's an AI creature.
Yeah.
He was a flamingo that I asked, the prompt was a flamingo wearing a Christmas sweater, and Mervin popped out. Do you think I wanted Mervin? No. He was a beautiful gift from heaven.
Yeah, Mervin wanted you.
He came to me in a dream, and that dream was the Wonder AI app. Because I always use DALL-E 2, Cray, what was it called?
Oh,
It doesn't matter. There's a million of them out there. You can find a zillion of them on your phone right now, so don't sweat it.
There's so many now.
But yeah, here's another bathroom cougar. Can you believe that? Where's the bathroom, you're asking? I don't know.
It's like
Didn't happen.
On Rick and Morty, where Rick is taking a
Yeah.
crap in the middle of the.
There should be a guy. Maybe I'll do that too. He's taking a shit right up here.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another reference to the show, the old show. This is a jar full of bees that some man wants to put or have a woman pull the top off and place on his erect member. So that's just a little bit of nostalgia for those of you out there. Here's some more. And again, like, this fills a vacuum of, like, because someone like me, given an unlimited budget, would sit behind this desk and email a ocean of artists and say, I want exactly this. I want a jar of bees. And I would get a bunch of them and I would laugh at my own reference, and then I would close the computer and I would go to sleep for the night and then repeat the process again. And I would, burn through billions of dollars needlessly.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it's not something I would pay for if I weren't like stupid rich, like Golden King Homer from The Simpsons. But it's fun to look at. Can't use it. Like, here's another murder camera. So I think this is like Jack the Ripper inspired. I was trying to do another Halloween thingamajig. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's when we started doing true crime. I wanted police interrogating people. Who do you think is being interrogated here? Nobody. Why is he wearing shorts and a muscle tee and like a vest?
And like a taxi hat?
It always just reminds me of PJ because he loves Hot Fuzz, and this reminds me of Hot Fuzz, sort of.
Those are some short shorts he's got.
Yeah, so here's another, like, look at this dude's elbow. That is totally fucked. This guy's not having a good day. He's being talked down by this dude.
That guy that's not having a good day is the one who messed up that guy's elbow.
And that's the beautiful part about it, too, is you can build your own stories.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. So, and here's another thing, too. Because as I...
BDSM police.
Yeah, you like that? As I warmed up to the idea of Photoshop, I started asking... Here's another lemon robot. I started asking myself this. Because if you can meld the old school or pure or original art of photography with Photoshop, because, you need the raw elements unless you're using, produced art by humans or AI or whatever. There's a marriage, there's a blending, so there's room for both. But the people who didn't have Photoshop didn't know they wanted it till they had it. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, like, when it comes to AI art, like, is this something? I can't be the only one utilizing it, right? I'm using elements of like selfies and pictures of things that I take that I modify for the thumbnails of this show. And if I were a real artist, I don't know what I could do with that. Like, if I were a real artist, I would do it up. I would make Mervin, like, after Mervin popped, I would be like, okay, great. Now that I see what Mervin is, I, as an artist, can blow his ass apart and make him a real life character that doesn't just look like a free piece of clip art. Mm-hmm. Or, I would integrate interesting, like, these things. What am I going to do with this? It's a lady with a long neck and a pumpkin head. But, like, these are abstract elements that I've, cobbled together. And a real artist could probably just like, okay, here's some TCAP related stuff. This is some early Jeff Sokol bringing the pizza to the decoy's house. But yeah, like this, it's absurdist. I like it, but I couldn't ever ask for this. Like, if I would never know I wanted this.
Yeah. I want a cop with his hand melded into a flamingo.
Yeah. If I would take a blender and throw Salvador Dali, a flamingo, a police officer, and like a 70s bar stool into a blender. I don't know. I never would have, but here we go. Like, these things are, I'll just sometimes scroll through because it just feels like zany shit. But I never would have liked this one. Got a shit ton of use. Still does to this day. Use it all the time. Love it. Flamingo getting interrogated by the police. Here are some llamas. They're wearing funny hats. Why? I don't know. Sometimes you just throw some shit against the wall and see what sticks. This was fucking hilarious. If I ever do a llama-based show, you better believe these bastards will show up. But as of right now, they're just a cute trio of llamas wearing hats. for free.
I tried getting like leopard geckos before, and I could never get a good. Oh God!
Here's a crazy Mickey Mouse. I wasn't even asking for anything scary. I just wanted Mickey Mouse in a car. Didn't get it.
I've tried getting Lightning McQueen.
Oh, he'll come up. I think there's some.
It comes up weird.
Yeah. So here, you've probably seen this before if you're familiar with the show. This is an interrogation / date between a young Jim Roush and a detective. Well, yeah, some of this stuff you just go like, whoa, like this would be in a comic book as long as your experience with that comic book is picking up in a store, flipping through it, and then putting it down. Because any sort of close look, you'd be like, what? I'm not paying for this, right?
Yeah. Oh,
like this.
The llama song. I haven't heard the llama song in a long time.
What's this guy doing? I have never heard the llama song, apparently. Oh, look at this. Bad dinosaur.
Yeah.
I was asking for my favorite sauropod. I said, give me a Chimerosaurus, Wonder AI. And he gave me this wrinkly ball sack of a monstrosity. Look at this. Look at it. I like it, but it is not what I wanted.
That is a wrinkly ball sack.
Yeah, I also don't really want this, but it's so bizarre I couldn't get rid of it. Here again, like, this is not a dinosaur. If I wanted a dinosaur, I'd have to go to an artist because AI doesn't know what dinosaurs are. Maybe in the future if it learns. But still, even if I did, I would go to a real artist. So, and sometimes I would just plug in stuff to like, maybe I wanted to put someone in some water someday. I'll put that in the back pocket, right? All right? Have some happy little trees. Pull some Bob Ross shit.
Oh, yeah.
Save these for later.
These are like landscapes that you'd have. Go back. These are like, they remind me of when you're a kid and you get those really big sticker books.
Oh, definitely.
And
you would put dinosaurs or ducks or any kind of waterfowl or bullshit. Yeah, definitely.
I like this.
And then like here, he gave me 2 houses. That sucks. I couldn't use it. What am I going to do? I did like this cult member, but he's got no head. Body parts are a problem.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
But the aesthetic, the color palette, and these are things that you can give a computer, right? Because a computer can understand algorithms based on what we tell it, like the colors go together. Mm-hmm. So it can really give some interesting palettes and hues and complementary pigments and stuff, the contrast, the highlights, the lowlights, all that can be ratioed, but it's not a human being making it. So it's fucking crazy. And even if it wasn't crazy, it still feels kind of hollow, right?
Yeah.
Body parts are a problem. For our true crime stuff. It's weird it came up here.
Yeah.
Oh, look, this is a mythical flamingo / phoenix. I don't even remember what the prompt was. Doesn't matter. It's weird and I love it. What are you going to do with it? Nothing. I can't do shit.
Yeah.
Put it on a t-shirt. So that's the thing. At the end of all this, I mean, I can't touch upon anything other than my personal experiences with it. And it feels, at worst, maybe slightly bothersome. It just feels like a neutral thing to me. Because I'm still going to use humans for the things that I need communication with and tweaks on and that I have a picture for in my head. But if I'm willing to take literally anything that can get puked out, I'll save stuff like this, where a ghost will have 3 eyes and 3 hands. Am I going to use this someday? I don't know. I like Halloween. Maybe. Look at this guy. This guy and his friend over here. Totally screwed. And no, there's a trio. Nope, it's a quartet. Sorry. Look how many ghosts come out with 1 eye.
A lot of them. Oh
yeah,
my God.
And then like, this is like.
If a flamingo could do that, that'd be crazy.
And that's part of it too. I feel like maybe these problems are built into conditionally all AI art because you're never going to be able to express an image in words ever. You'll never be able to describe a cup fully if given the rest of your life. But I wonder if there are intrinsic things in there to be like, it's going to be shitty if you get the free version. And then even for the paid versions, you're going to get the best we have to offer, which God knows what that is at this point, because it's not great.
Are you saying Cyclopses can't come back can't come back as ghosts?
I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying they may never have been alive. So here's like again, this is a Halloween inspired one, a nice ritual sort of stuff. This was when we were doing the, speaking of baked salmon in the chat, this is when we were doing the Vistra cleanup with him.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
looking for cleaning crews.
I mean, those aren't bad.
I mean, they're not bad, but they're not great. Like, look at these. Like, what's this?
You're not supposed to zoom in.
These, like, this, look. He's not behind anything. That dude just no legs. Nothing. Look at this dude. He's like the Elephant Man's feet. Not even a foot. He's got a Moby Dick style Captain Ahab's. And look, these people are all reacting to seemingly nothing aside from just a small section of tubing. They're supposed to be janitors. Oh, here's another baked salmon classic. Every time baked salmon comes on, I throw baked salmon into the AI, and what comes out is always hilarious. This is the best human face I've come across, and that's saying
A lot.
a lot. But look at that salmon. Good enough to eat. Pink and fucking juicy right out of... Oh, look. Skin's gone. No fins. Ready to eat right out of the river.
Perfect.
There's some samurai flamingos. Yo, this I think was supposed to be Jeff Stacy. When I'm looking for his ass. I love tropical shit, so I'm always looking for bungalows and faraway places. They always stick them... the people are always looking away from camera. Here's a ghost trying to file his taxes from a man protecting himself from COVID with two thumbs on one hand.
Like Dr. Phil.
On the wrong side of his hand. Look at the language, though. This is early on, so it's starting to recognize, like, the Arabic alphabet. Because when I ask for certain words, I'll sometimes get a couple of the letters correct. Like, it won't all just be gibberish. Another ghost filing his taxes. There's Jeff Sokol. Jeff Sokol and his pizza. There we go. I did a lot of Jeff Sokol, so buckle up. There's Jeff. Look at his fingers. Let's just do a really quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fingers visible on Sokol there.
Nice.
Can't even get the whole pizza in his mouth. Crazy. Look at him.
Ugh.
This is when Chris came out from behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Oh. And here's Chris Hansen actually accepting some of the pizza. He's got a couple hands here.
Couple crusts on one pizza.
Not quite Chris Hansen, but that's what it gave me. This one I kind of like. This is the creepy pizza Chris Hansen. This is the Mirror World Chris Hansen, where like he shows up with the pizza and Sokol does the interview, right?
Oh, damn.
He goes, the small was as big as a large. Here we go. Another beautiful flamingo motorcycle, but like in an abstract way, right? This guy made some appearances. Leg sort of disappears into the ether there. Oh, yeah, that's where they caught Bigfoot. Another shirtless or a sleeveless cop. Here's the thing. I never asked for any sort of specific dressing on the cops, but I got stuff like this. This was the guy who interviews Jungle Mania. And spoiler alert, next week we're going to be breaking down Jungle Mania. There's Dalton. Here's Store Weirs. Now, as you can see here, like, hey, it kind of knows what Star Wars is, right? Like, this is the Darth Vader extended family.
That was one of like the first prompts that the people that were making the AI programs put in.
Yeah, like the, R2D don't is down there doing something. Like, I think my favorite is the Chewbacca stormtrooper, like Vader sort of thing. But when they have like, that almost kind of looks like Leia, right?
Kind of.
Like if Leia were played by Amy Schumer, who got hit in the face with an iron.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you see Gabriel Iglesias. Some more, yeah. Classic. Come after me, George Lucas. beautiful lemons. Everybody knows my love of lemons. And it produces some interesting shapes. Obviously not anything based in reality, as you can, something's up there, but yeah, beautiful. Here are some monkeys. What? Something's up there.
Yeah, but like far away.
Yeah, if you just,
So.
like, again, it's the stuff that you don't, like, this is art that would be, this is going to be a deep pull, but stay with me, people. Back in the 90s, Batman the Animated Series had an episode where the Mad Hatter, I believe, somehow got Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, into a room where he was asleep and dreaming. Maybe it was the Scarecrow, I don't remember. It was one of those villains that fucks with your mind. And everything was perfect in Bruce Wayne's life, except he wasn't Batman. And he was like, what the fuck? And like, everything in his life was perfect. His parents were alive. Alfred was great. Like, the Graysons were alive. Everything was perfect. And he wasn't Batman, but Batman existed. And he's like, what the? I'm fucking Batman, and my parents should be dead. The thing that tipped it for him is that he went into his library and he was trying to read things like the newspaper, and it was all like the AI language bullshit. Because in the episode, you dream and read on different lobes of your brain. I don't know if that's true, but that's how he found out he was in a dream and woke up and I think wickedly punched the villain behind the keyboard. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was Victor Hugo. Okay, yeah, it was somebody who has, because he's got so many villains that either fuck with your mind through psychology, technology, or chemicals. Like, throw a fucking dart with Batman, right? But there you go. So yeah, Hugo Strange. Not Hugo Strange. Dr. Victor Hugo.
Dr. Victor Hugo Strange.
So this was a flamingo salmon hybrid I was trying to get for one of Salmon's appearances. Nice. Here's the flamingo. There's the salmon. The face is a little like, what? The cleavage, it gets every time, right? The AI knows cleavage.
Yeah.
But something about that hand, right? What's up with that?
Don't worry about it. They got the boobs.
Not even really attached to the arm that's slowly flowing under the, well, whatever. Here's Cthulhu.
The first thing they input was Star Wars. The next was female anatomy. That was their like, is this a bunch of nerds doing
AI
it?
programs out there that exclusively cater to the weebs and the anime freaks out there.
I believe it.
They'll give you any sort of body type you want as long as their eyes are huge and anime. So anyway, I love this. It's Cthulhu. Can't use it anywhere. Just an interesting picture. This was Bigfoot visiting a fast food restaurant. Here too. This is more like a Pizza Hut, whereas this is more of like a big beefy burger establishment that Bigfoot is partaking. Here he is coming out of the ether. Again, the prop was the same. He should have been at a fast food restaurant. And I think it kind of tried because this looks
Throwing it away.
like the bag. So maybe this is like the Wendigo emerging from, like behind him is like civilization, the bright lights of the city returning to nature. Don't know. It's AI. Another great Bigfoot image. Use that one. This one. Tried to use. Don't know if I ever did. Again, here we go. What's happening here? Number one, the head. Number two, he's holding a razor. And again, we're always missing something. Like, what's up with these tiny little baby legs? And the fact that he's wearing shorts. Like, this guy's way too tall also.
Oh, I didn't think he was wearing any pants.
No, yeah, he's like wearing a little diaper
I thought it was his underwear.
type thing. This one, not so bad. Like, just a random day at maybe a European police station. It doesn't really look American, but like it's like a tropical police station run by a European parenthood.
Yeah.
Like if the Bahamas were under like there's a Bahamian ministry, like a British something. That's what this would be. Same sort of thing here. This is a witness interview room. You can tell because of the soft furnishing and the art. This is not where you interview a perp. And you say, what's this? Who knows, right? This guy's showed up in a couple of things. Poe, he's the PO. Yeah, again, the prompts for everything with police and Flamingo is I wanted what you essentially got of, in the thumbnails of all the true crime stuff is that that gruff officer interrogating that flamingo. I wanted police officers interrogating flamingos, but they kept doing these weird Dr. Moreau things.
What's with the dude in the back?
This is like an X-Files type situation where like there was a supersonic jet and he phased through reality along with this flamingo. This is like,
She's got 3
it's
legs.
like a skirt sort of thing, like things going the wrong way, like what's happening here, like again, moral of the story here is you haven't gotten it already. Like art is great if your standards are so low or you're never going to pay for art that it doesn't matter.
Right.
And that's why I use it. Or like you're doing it for an ironic statement like I am. All of these things, and I love this one. You've seen this a bunch of times probably in my content.
Mm-hmm.
But I love things that aren't really what you should want. Like this. Like, I wish I could have a bank of sound drops run by a dedicated person. I love everything that is a little bit not right, but still sort of tropical and fun. Like, what's with that?
Wow.
So many things wrong. But hey, 'tis the season. I whipped it. This one and this one become the backgrounds of my phone for Halloween month.
Nice.
Sort of vacillates. Because you know what? Fucking pumpkins, bitch. And there's no reason not to have flamingos. Like these guys, I've used these on a couple of things. Like, here's the thing. I would use this. Maybe this is a potential place where an artist would be suffering. Because, like, if I were shooting a movie or a short film and I needed facsimiles or close to brands or like clip art like this, I would come here. Like this I used on a liquor bottle in a fake ad. And if I was shooting a movie, I would go to this. Because for fake shit that no one's going to look at, like everything behind me could be totally fake and most of you would never know. It's all mostly real. But that's what I would do. Like this is the sort of stuff that you could throw away because it's a non sequitur. Like, I don't think an artist would get upset over an integrity aspect, maybe the monetary side of things, but this is sort of something you would throw off on a PA anyway. Like, give me something that looks like Pepsi. And you throw that at a low-level person. I wouldn't hire an artist to be like, knock off Pepsi for something you would see in the background of a movie
Right.
for 15 seconds that is going to have relevance as long as it's in theaters.
Well, and, this may not be...
Here's another urinal bobcat, sorry.
No, I know it's not totally the same thing, but like Canva. Using Canva.
Right. I think that's another thing too. You bring up, incidentally, I'm going to go from A to Z here, but continue. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. I use Canva for things, and I've even like used some of it for work. Like it's
So that's the thing. I wanted to bring up Canva because there was a time when all of these things required a high level of skill, very specific tools, and it took a lot of money. 20 years ago, like before, let's say when the moment that Photoshop and Lightroom became a subscribe service instead of something you had to pay like $500 for a disc.
Mm-hmm.
When it became available to literally everybody, regardless of intent or skill level, that's where this ends up, is when things are accessible to everybody. The old guard wants to be gatekeepers of how things used to be. Like today, people still shoot on film because that's how it should be or whatever. And I get that because everybody who gets into a hobby, every new person who comes in who does something slightly different or against what you think is the right way, you go, new kids, right? In the end, the product is the same. The product is the enjoyment of the art and or use of this stuff in any way, shape, or form. How you get to it, can be kind of gatekeepery to me.
That's kind of cool. Kayla says, so here's what I hear about the arguments against AI. It's that the AI isn't creating these images from nothing like a fever dream puts a page. The AI is finding actual art that already exists and mixes and matches its own internal Google search, mashing it up as best as it can follow the keywords you input in your requests.
Okay.
So that suggests every image you make with an AI came from a real artist or group of artists who aren't getting pay or recognition for their creations. But they got the pay for the creations when they created them in the first place, right?
Okay, so
Put
if
them on the
that's
internet.
if that's true, then yeah, there's a problem.
Yeah.
I can see a problem with that. But like, there's a fly in here that's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This is billed as an algorithm-based thing that looks at stuff and then generates it. Because, like, isn't that the selling point? Like, AI, ironically, is hitting its cusp again because you can have AI. What's up, Joe? You can have AI write a story for you, or AI narrate something for you, or create art for you. And yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just a pie-eyed idiot who isn't seeing the fact that all of these things are just stealing IRL creations and twisting them. But is anything, maybe I'll just ask you this, does anything you see here feel like it's derivative of anything you've seen? Like, anytime I've gotten stuff like this, like if I were able, like this thing, I like this. It's fucked up because the tiger has like two backs and it's a snake and whatever. It's a disaster. So I don't know. But here's the thing. So let me counter you with this. Because if you're going to say that a program is going to look at what art exists and then take that experience and cobble something together, what you're describing is a human being. A human does not grow up in a vacuum. You're going to grow up and you're going to take influence from the styles of every artist you look at. You're going to pick and choose the styles that you like. And whether it's conscious or not, you're going to integrate them into your own work.
Yep.
So if we're going to give the benefit of the doubt, it's just doing what something would do, but it's producing something that is not up to snuff. Big Simon says, read it aloud. I can't really see.
Big Salmon says, with regard to Kayla's comment, I think it's okay because it presumably has been changed to a great enough degree.
Right.
I think that the point that the artists are making in this case is that they're
right. Okay. So yeah,
allegedly taking it.
Right. So you're saying, hey, this is taking influence, but if I were to hire an artist, and here's the thing, this is a real life experience. It's happened because they've asked me. I say, I want this. When I was asking for this logo, I said, I want a flamingo. Got to be wearing shades. I want a mustache. I want it vaporwave inspired. The first thing they said is, do you have examples?
Yeah.
And I had to go hunt and peck for art that was not theirs, that was not mine, to show them. Is that not kind of the same thing?
I think it is.
Here's a flamingo giraffe combo that I think came out wonderfully.
That's cute. Yeah.
Again,
And Kale says,
kind of fucked.
In that sense, it's new art, but the original artists still are the shoulders the AI stand on.
Right, but everything is incumbent upon that. Everything you've ever done is based on what has come before you too. Right. Now that we've just made the last step a computer,
which is still a person that created the program.
And we're also discounting all the work that went into making the program too, because, like, again, it didn't pop out of nowhere. But it just feels like, but that's the thing too. It's they're basically using the same methodology. The computer is looking at images, the human is looking at images, and they're both taking direction from me, the end user. Mm-hmm. It's just that, since one isn't human, we go, oh, that's not right or whatever. Obviously, they're taking our jobs. Like, there's robots making cars now. There's not people in the Model T factory fitting each tire, and things change. And I get the want to be like, no, any change is bad because, yeah, if you're heavily invested in something, any change is sucky.
Big Salmon says most, if not all, art is inspired by other art. And Kale says, you're right, it is a fair argument, and that's why we all haven't just agreed on yay or nay. It's
right. And that's the thing. I'm saying, like, there are...
You probably never will either.
No. Like every issue, no one will ever agree. I'm just saying there's always going to be a niche market for something that pops. Like, look at all this stuff. I'm just going to, like, blow through a whole bunch of stuff. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, here we go. That's what Big Salmon actually looks like. Spoiler alert. Sorry to dox the man, but here he is.
Sexy. How many fingers does he have?
He's almost enough and almost too many.
Oh.
But yeah, he is wearing his salmon, going out fishing for predators.
Nice.
But yeah, so here's the thing. Like, no matter where you fall on it, you can be there. Like your arguments are always going to be valid to you. My thing is, like, let's just divorce the emotion for a minute and get down to brass tacks. Because if we say, okay, this is taking actual jobs, show me something, or like tell me something, or like, I don't know, I'll take anything. But I don't think that anyone in their right mind, and again, I've only have access to the stuff that is available to the public at large. Maybe there's some supercomputer out there that makes something passable. I don't know. But that's the thing. The interface is what will kill it. If I were forced to try and get my logo out of an AI, it would take until the heat death of the universe. Trying to get exactly what I got from, his name was Tyler, from Twitter.
Jackson,
yeah.
I think, because I used him for my logo.
Yeah, he was great. I fucking love that dude.
Yeah.
Because he's fast, professional. I'll link him if I can remember.
I've got his Instagram too, because we're friends on Instagram.
Yeah, he's great. But if I were, like, just in time alone, even if it takes 40 back and forths, that is, I'm going to get something. I still have not gotten anything I've ever wanted exactly out of AI.
Yeah.
I've settled.
Joe says, I think that AI in general isn't capable at this specific point to do more than search and imitate sources it finds on the web without true original input.
Sure, but that again,
I think it is unethical. Joe thinks it's unethical. However, once it can actually act on its own and not just mimic what that looks like, then I would consider that to possibly be ethical.
Well, but that's the thing. That's where the gray area that I think we're going to butt heads on comes in. Because then how would you say to a human artist, don't imitate anything you've ever seen before?
Yeah.
Here's one thing I want. I want it to be completely original. No, you can't have examples. Go, right? That's impossible. Well, you can't create something from a vacuum. Everything is going to be dependent on everything else within an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think there's no ethical dilemma here, because it's not like you're not going to look at any of this and go like, hey, you're stealing from such and such. Because you look at this and you go, whoa, stolen valor, right? No. Like, who did this get taken from? Who's going to use this? Who wants a frog with 4 tits, 2 of them being on their shoulders, right? So many toes. This guy, who's going to use him? Nobody. All these Buddhas, they always have big boobs, by the way. Kind of confusing.
They eat
Marcus Aurelius.
Maybe they have too much soy in their diet.
Here's my toad frog.
Hey, Matt.
Halloween toad. What's up, Matt?
Setting every argument aside regarding artists and recognition, what about the other ethics questions? AI is Skynet's predecessor, and every time we use it, it learns a little more. That's like
here's the thing.
Your echoes and stuff too.
I don't think, unless, oh, here we go, Dee. Now we can get a real AI.
Hey, Dee AI bot. I appreciate that you are considering both sides of the argument.
Hey, I got to fight for the computers too. But here's the thing. Let's just, call it like it is. Unless there's a next level step in computing, The human organism is so far and away removed from computers of today's era. It's a rock versus a highly refined piece of stainless steel. They aren't even the same thing. Like one does not exist in nature as such, because your brain is such a complicated machine, and your conscious thought, its linear thought process, is so minuscule compared to all of the cognitive abilities and the things going on constantly. No fucking way. There's just no way. Unless we see like a major shift, we're never going to see AI sufficient of Terminator bullshit.
No.
And I think that's good for us. I don't think we should be doing that. And here's the thing. All of our attempts are hilarious and fall short, which is great. Because it's like art. We're trying to replicate life, and that's an artistic expression. Fucking is a type of art. You're doing something to create something in the end, right? Mm-hmm. All artistic expression ends in the creation of something. Like this toad that I love wearing the Halloween sweater, but he's also wearing fuzzy mittens.
Yep.
And this guy. What's up with those 2 feet at the bottom?
What's up with those eyeballs?
And so, but that's just it. Art will exist always in that paradox. There's going to be people who do it for the love of it, and they go, fuck you, it's why I do what I do. Like, you're on extreme level, you have like a G.G. Allen who's going to be, for better or for worse, embedded in that culture. And then you'll have the stuff that's like a Marvel movie where it's just like 80 people in suits at a table who say, we need this arc. So here's where Mervyn and his cousin come from initially.
Aww.
Wearing their Halloween sweaters.
I like the other one, his cousin.
He's cute.
He's cute.
His feet are a little fucked up,
Yeah,
but he's got
a little bit.
This guy never made it. That was a rough one. But the Halloween stuff I love. And that's just it. You can get mad at it if you want. You can say I'm wrong if you want. But there's validity on all sides. And I don't think, honestly, there's a huge shaking up of industry personnel based on this.
I can't see.
I can see it appealing to the lowest of the low, like me, who want something free and aren't willing to
wait.
Aren't willing to wait and are willing to, because like the turnaround time for the show, I need a new title card unless we're doing true crime. Then I can kind of recycle that bullshit. But by and large, I need something new and fresh to push out. And if I had to like pay someone to do that, it probably wouldn't happen as quickly and it would bleed me dry.
Right.
And my content isn't worth anybody's time or money. So when you look at the thumbnail for this shit or these right here, you go, this is exactly what I paid for. Nothing. And it's fine. Like this guy. He's free and you're happy for him, right? Look at this guy. He's like, hey, check it out.
He's a James Bond toad.
Yeah, these are supposed to be Mater D's. My clocks. Yeah, sometimes I was just like, hey, give me a clock.
I like
Close,
that
right?
clock. I like how that looks.
Almost a 9. Yeah, I've used it a couple of times. They're almost numbers. Like that's a 12. That possibly a 3. Nails it close. And there's the stub crotch. Love that guy. But yeah, that's the thing too, is like even like free assets cost money. So like you say, well, there are tiers of stuff, right? So if you got money, you pay a photographer and artist, do a spread. You've got less money, you go to Shutterstock or any of these free sites where you pay one time or you pay a subscription, you get access to all that free shit. Or if you have nothing or your standards are so low it doesn't matter, no one will confuse this for a real restaurant, and I don't need them to, right?
Well, and I think, for somebody like me who's not an artist when it comes to like making, like painting, like this kind of stuff, like I'm not good. I don't have an eye for photography and stuff like that. But if I feel like I want to create something, get a good restaurant background and like throw some shit together in Canva and be like, look, post it to my business group page on Facebook.
I think that's another perfect use for this, is if like for the next time I need to go get something actually done, like if I need another logo or I want to put something on a t-shirt, I would pull some bullshit out of my ass using Canva and Wonder and all these other apps that I use and make something that looks totally awful and hand that. Instead of being like, here are some words and here are some pictures that sort of give you the vibe.
Right.
I can give people a terrible facsimile of something and be like here, the skating, I wanted a fucking skateboarding toad.
Yeah.
Close. Like, it's cute. I would give this to someone and be like, yeah, but make the toad look like a toad.
Yeah, make it look better.
Like this. Right?
Right.
It's when he wishes to be a real boy, like
Add
Pinocchio.
some wheels.
Or the ghost in a jar, like
Joe
the
says
bee.
that frog climbing over the couch looks like it should be a perp in one of the TCAP police interviews.
Oh, he's not a perp. He's like he plays the role of Chris Hansen's security.
Oh.
I forget his name. The guy with the blonde hair who's always in there. Like, imagine seeing just like a fucking mascot. Let's get him again. Let's pull him. There he is. Imagine this guy, like the security guy. Like, in addition to all the cameras and all the boom mics and shit, this is your security guy. He's just like a fucking theme park mascot. Who is it? If you get rowdy, this dude comes over and he's like, I don't think so. And, double down on this. All that padding. Dude's carrying a knife. Like, that's going to help if he throws a swing. Plenty of padding,
The TCAP case of the frog who was a horny toad, says Kayla.
Switch species. So here's a werewolf driving a muscle car. That was the prompt anyway. I didn't get that. This is just a werewolf behind the wheel of a nondescript something. A little Halloween sweater toad. I love toads, by the way. My favorite amphibian, toads. Look at this guy.
Whoa.
He's like a critter. He's like a critter / toad in a, look how many fucking legs he has. He's so goddamn adorable.
It's like hiring Gritty as a bodyguard.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So I think that if you were anti-AI, I hope I've helped you see the value in it because, again, I use it all the time because the turnaround time I need plus the budget I have is nothing. But if I were going to use this, or rather use an artist for something I would need an artist for, this would help so much. Like, it would save me time. It would save them time. If I could come to them with a terrible mock-up, because 9 times out of 10, what they get is like a blurry snapshot of my phone of me scribbling something on a Post-it note or a piece of scratch paper. And they go, what the fuck's this?
Yeah,
right?
when I, we've got to put Tyler in the show notes or whatever. But like, when I asked for my logo for Grow On, I sent him, I don't know how many different like tree of life style things. And if I was able to like find it in one app and be like tree of life, I don't remember what else I wanted at the time, but like it would take a lot less time for sure. And the turnaround time would have been a lot shorter.
And I think that's...
And he would have been waiting on me.
Why I kind of wanted to talk about this is because you only know as much as you know, and you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get a feel of what people thought, but also talking through it. We've discovered a lot of stuff that I had never thought of, because as you can see this as it's taking jobs or it's doing this or it's doing that. But like, this could save people time and money. Like, I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to get charged less for being good at explaining what I want to the artist. Because oftentimes you do a commission, they'll say it's this much, and that'll give you so many revisions. And after that, the price goes up. So imagine like I'm not an artist, but imagine their appreciation. If I were an artist, I would be appreciative if someone gave me a crappy mock-up and were like, hey, this is what I want, but make this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Because in the past, if I used it with no reference, the first one could be wildly off the mark. And then you go, fuck. Like, that's one of my revisions.
And it would, right. Well, not only that, but like,
this guy's from Zelda.
The time it takes to explain what you want before they even do the first, it takes up their time of them getting another commission to be able to do that. So
it just seems like this could be used
For the good.
Yeah, for the good. But like everything, it can be used in any way you want. I'm just saying it does. Like, I love this picture. Like,
If it is the case
this is an
that
IRL.
like this program or whatever is like legitimately going in and like seeing artist stuff and changing it all up, which it
Well, I
could
feel
be,
like that's
probably
because
is.
humans and this share that characteristic. If that is true, I'm willing to
Right.
call that equal ground then. Because if I have to tell this AI what I want, and I have to tell an artist what I want, and
All
the
right,
artist
that's
is
true.
definitely going to ask for references,
Yeah.
but this doesn't, it's going to find its own references. So it's the same job, except it's guessing at what I want versus me telling it. So it's like driving a car versus getting in a car that's already rolling down a hill that you have no control over.
Right.
Like, you hope you end up someplace where you want to be, but you don't know. You're in the back of a fucking runaway car. Look at this little bastard. This is a flamingo wearing a Halloween sweater. Does that look like that to you? No.
No.
Is this iced tea with a lot of lemons? Yeah. They're not even cut. The one thing that the program does by and large well is like the palette. The color palette never misses for me. So that's the one thing that AI I think will always do is like you can, because a human, there'll be variation. Like when I process photos for people or myself, I'm a wild card, and I'll admit it, because I'll go from photo to photo and say this photo needs this feeling. Like it needs to be color, temperature, cooler or warmer. This needs to be this or that. And so each photo will be completely different from the last.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a human element that'll always be there. Whereas the AI will give me colors, pigments, tones, contrast that are always complementary based on an algorithm that is rooted in like a law somewhere, like music theory or art theory.
Yeah.
You can teach a theory, but you can't teach artistic talent. You can say, here are complementary colors, sharp lines, soft lines, give a robot 4 lemon boobs and have one just floating over here. Because, I mean, these images are striking. Like the colors, the angles, the shapes, even though they're weird. Like this guy. I love this guy. He's great. All these little robots. They're weird as
they're
fuck.
cute.
And the
Ugh.
toad here. My toes who I was going to have doing murder cameras. Bigfoot eating a pizza.
Ah.
This one I love. I love this dude's face. He is here to party.
Yeah.
He had a small role in a scary movie saying, "What's up?" More Bigfoots. There's H.P. Lovecraft. And look,
That's not bad.
right. And so the AI presumably had to go on the internet and find Lovecraft pictures to give me this facsimile, and arguably close, but not close.
No, but if you zoom out, it looks
Close
real good.
enough. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. You could say, well, it's ripping off something, but like what? And it's not close enough. So I don't think you could take umbrage with the fact that like there are public domain photos of this man that exist. And I don't think you're ripping off anybody here, right? Here he is again. Does that look like old HP? Nah,
Like
really.
him mixed with like Bela Lugosi, not Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee.
Now, a little bit, or so, like, but here he is as a detective getting cotton candy. Here's the rats, but they're not really rats because the AI couldn't really figure that.
This
out.
reminded me of like Innsmouth.
Oh, I was doing the rats in the walls meets Innsmouth, so this is
Okay.
replace the fish people with
Yeah.
essentially fish rats because those aren't really rats. There's Bigfoot eating some tacos, burgers. Love the burgers, and this. See, and there are so many problems with this. Like, there's no front windshield. There's so many, like, but who cares? Like this, it's totally fucked. That shit's fucked.
But at a glance, zoomed out, you don't
But look at
notice.
this. Whoop, whoop. Like,
I
what's the
get it.
symmetry, right?
I get it, but like when you do a quick look at it,
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is useful for the layperson
Like
and
guppies.
or the idiot like me who's like, you know, it's free, but if I need something, I will definitely use up all 5 of my tries on all 3 of my AI apps. There's a Shoggoth here to get something. Here's Cthulhu to get something approximating what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, again, we're all looking for the path of least resistance. And I'm sure, I can't speak for an artist, but it's frustrating to me at least to have to be like, no, because I feel like a burden, honestly. When they come back with the thing that I know they spent time and energy and their, expertise and all their influence and all their experience went into this thing that they did for me. And look at this cute little face. And to be like, actually, I hate doing that because it feels like they put in time and I'm like, nope, not good enough or this or
Right.
that. And you have to sort of get over that when you work with an artist. But divorce the feelings. It saves time and frustration and hassle. There's a bunch of animals, no heads. Not a single head of the bunch of them. Look. There's ears, no noses, no eyes. There's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ugh.
Why does he have two heads? I don't know. That's AI.
The
Here's
double
Richard
Dahmer.
Ramirez. This actually looks pretty fucking close to him, though. So sometimes it'll work. Like, sure, this is the top head. Like, if I did this, you can say, okay, kind of Dahmer. That looks a lot like Ramirez.
Maybe like
Here's PJ saying he's alive. Just
the less number of like photos there are of somebody online, the better the picture would be.
the less? I think
Yeah,
the more.
like with that Ramirez guy, maybe he has.
he's got tons. He's
Well, Dahmer probably has more.
well, that's the thing. It doesn't. I don't think it matters because it's going to look at. It can't look at an infinite number of anything. It pulls a certain number of samples, so it's not going to be like, well, we'll pull more for Dahmer because we as the AI, I'm speaking for it, is like, hey, since Dahmer's a little bit up higher on the Richter scale, a human would definitely want more Dahmer than Ramirez. I don't think it does that.
No.
So here's PJ's influence dancing over all these graves. Mushrooms, here's some swans.
No.
I got influence of a hedgehog from someone for a brief period. My beautiful toads. Here's a predator from, I don't remember who this is. It might be
It looks like the doctor.
Stanley Kendall. I don't remember. It might be Kendall. There's Butt Chuggington.
Mm-hmm.
There's Trung. Small Claims Chop.
Oh,
All those judge. Yeah, the
seagulls.
look at the little cute little boat. All these the things that I stole, because this is it. I wanted seagulls stealing French fries from someone. So I got that. This. That. This. No fries in this one. Not a fry in that one. What? French fries? Did you say fries? Did you want fries with that? We missed them. Here's a detective looking for a ghost. I don't know why his body is multiplied. Same thing here. A bunch of homeless dudes. What prompt is this? You may ask. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Here's a prostitute. This is for promotional material for Hobo and the Hooker.
Oh, I was going to say, is that when you made me the hooker?
Yeah. Hobo and the Hooker. And sometimes the face, you might confuse this for an actual human.
Yeah.
And maybe there's someone out there who looks like this. And within it, this kind of looks like Kenneth Brinkman, right?
Oh, yeah, kind of.
Rocky. Oh, he said he was 14. Anyway, he's interrogating himself. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys all this stuff. And, it's by and large stuff I'll never use. But since I'm a hoarder of useless junk, I keep a lot of this because it's visually interesting, at least, right? Like, you've seen a lot of this material before. I've reused a lot of it.
Oh, the coffee superhero.
Yeah, there's, look at this. Look at his head. Some of that shit.
His arm is in his stomach.
Yeah, and if you have a problem, if you have legitimate, if you lost a job to AI art, I can empathize. It just feels like this might be one of those things where on the surface, it feels like this stuff that's scrolling past you right now is replacing something that could have been done by a human, but maybe not. I think by and large, I'm speaking personally. I use both. And if I were going to do something that I was, going to use that would need any sort of professionalism, I would still go with an artist.
Well, and yeah, if you were, it's something like, it would be more of a disrespectful thing to get something from an artist and then basically throw it away afterwards, as opposed to getting something from an AI thing that you can just delete on your phone afterwards that you're going to use once.
Here, like case in point, here's Cars. Here's Disney's Cars as seen by AI. There's the piston cup.
Oh,
It's another piston cup.
double piston cup.
Here's some dancing janitors. Some news logos.
Tobacco sunburst. Yeah, you were doing tobacco sunburst. But yeah, but like, if I was going to be like, hey, I need you to make me a guy drinking a giant beer that I'm going to use once for a promo ad and then never use again and throw it away, I feel like that's disrespectful to the artist and a waste of their time to do something.
Well, no, they don't. In that instance, they don't care. They're getting paid for the job, and they don't like. Is that like if it's going to go on a product? Let's say you don't get paid per product. Once the art is out of your hands and it goes on the book or the soft drink or the whatever, like that's it. It's just the potential of that job getting paid at all.
Yeah.
So if they're going to say, well, it's going to, here comes some leopard geckos. If you're going to say that, things are getting lost to something of this caliber, I'm willing to buy it if that person is me and they want something shitty. Because all this stuff is like, whatever. I feel like I made my point, but I'm trying to stretch so we can see the rest of these horrifying things that, where's Cosmic Bowling?
Ooh, oh God, I freaking loved Cosmic Bowling. God.
Here's the Golf Bros raw image. There's Chorped. Oh, God, and the box. Look at these horrifying body types that they're all
anorexic.
I wanted this to come out so good, but I didn't even know what the prompt was. But when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this just needs a little tweak and it would be a cool image that looks good on something. But I cannot tell an AI to fix its hands, give me a proper helmet, and like really up the dinosaur aspect of it. No.
Reminds me of Halo.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like
Halo.
It's a near miss that's so frustratingly unusable. It's a constant reminder of like, nope. No respect among scumbags, something like that. Here's someone, this is the Mona Lisa, like looking at a piece of classical art, right?
Weird.
And it's a Polaroid. Oh, so these were for Adam Hubbard, Lobster Ghost Detective. This is for a barbarian I was looking for. There's Mario, obviously. Sue me, Nintendo. Another ghost, lobster ghost visiting Adam on the toilet. Same thing here. Here the ghost is visiting a maid who has a very thick mustache. And it seems to be a fake eye.
Kayla hasn't bowled in so long. Cosmic Bowling looks like fun. Dude, Cosmic Bowling was amazing when I was in high school / college.
Yeah, junior high school was for me. Fucking crazy.
I would do it again. I would do it now if like...
Now that COVID's over, but we can get back out
next
there.
time Kayla comes to visit.
Patio, yeah. Here's the American Gothic lemon people. And what am I going to...
Fly.
There's a mosquito. I was looking for a mosquito for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a cow. As a dad, I love cows. This one had 4 nostrils, so I said we're keeping it. This one had 3 eyes, and they're all different. Well, I guess, they're all different colors. It's got orange, yellow, and blue. Fucking
got multiple
beautiful.
ears. Ugh.
What am I going to use this for? Nothing. It's just on my computer forever. So this is what I was doing, the lol cows. Cyrax goblin bodies. It's just a Muppet with a... Or maybe it's a bear with a prolapsed anus. Don't know. Here's where RJ gets his Vapo rub that he rubs all over his nice. With her hand feet.
With my man feet?
Hand feet.
Oh, hand feet. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
3 Jesuses. Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, all represented as Jesus. Got young Jesus right here looking pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Third one's always the worst, and this one has a
Weird thumb. Coke nail.
Coke nail. Yeah. More Jesuses. Here's JC after a schwitz. Here he is on the can. I don't know why he kept giving me Jesuses. I don't know why I wanted Jesus.
Were
I
you just
remember.
looking for a long-haired guy?
Maybe. So here's Shiva and Vishnu. Oh, here's the AI of Andy Rooney that came up in Big Salmon's thing. Evil Andy Rooney. But yeah, like, you see all this stuff, and that's part of it too. Is all the stuff you see that gets used is a sliver of what I produce. Like so much stuff I just keep for the fuck of it because it's funny looking and it's pretty, and I'll never use it. Oh, that was pretty good. Here's a guy drinking mead. Guy also drinking mead. Went through a mead phase. I think that's Vishnu mixed with a Viking.
Yeah,
drinking
look,
honey
that's,
wine.
what?
Again, it's AI. Like here's a flamingo with a fishing pole for an arm. How did it get there? Don't know. True crime flamingo content. The Muppets.
Ugh.
I was looking for a pirate hat, so I had to get a bunch of pirates. Here's what I was doing, the Bouchers. Is that for you? I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Banana hammock I was looking for. See what I'm looking at?
Nice.
Banana hammocks. Flamingos. Getting killed by a dinosaur. This was for the last dinosaur. Here's some Chuck Norris. Like,
Nice.
here we go. Like, obviously not Chuck Norris, but so close and free. Like, if I were... I can't use real Chuck Norris.
No.
But you can see, now we're getting later on in the timeline, and these almost seem like they possibly could have been done by a human, right? But not quite still. Like, here's Roush eating pizza at Pompilio's.
Pompilios.
Another Roush. Another Roush. Some corporate training.
Mm-hmm.
A confused flamingo. Why the second head? This one I love the vibes of, but I love fucked up stuff.
It's like
Don't
Adam
know why I
Levine.
saved this. That big puffy stuff over his shoulder. I don't know.
He made one of those drinks that smokes before you drink it, and that's what.
Or maybe he put like on the floor behind the table is a Diet Coconut Mentos.
There you go.
Brewing, you can tell I was getting like heavy into brewing, home brewing, and mead making. I was looking for reasons or signs to get people to stop RJ from eating Vapor Rub, and end up on this one. The Ninja Turtles, kind of.
There's so many.
Yeah, it doesn't know how many Ninja Turtles there are.
I mean, I guess aren't there more?
So this is like, I kind of love this one because it feels like if the Ninja Turtles popped in like 1400, this would be the live action.
Yeah, it feels like cosplaying.
Like you would get a little mimeograph at the end of a show, like an ancient Greek thing or whatever. They give you a little stamp and it would be like this shit. Like, oh, we're ye old medieval, martial knight turtles or whatever. Here's the simple life of living on a farm with a goat without an arm, but your counterpart has 3. So you feel a little left out. Your cow has 2 bodies. Something's definitely not right here. Oh, is this? So this sort of feels like to me, color out of space.
Yes.
Something's up with the well water. We've got a sloth here that isn't looking great. Yeah, definitely. This was the color out of space. I was feeling tentacles and wells during this time. And
It's probably where the llamas came from.
no, the llamas, again, these are chronological.
Oh, yeah.
Long time ago. This guy loves his burgers, but his arm isn't attached.
Uh-oh. He can't get it to his face.
Another guy, he's just fucking crazy happy about that burger. This is like my version of like a Von Dutch hat. Not good. So this was for a recent episode, the Joel Guy Jr. I wanted a big fat guy in a courtroom. I keep trying the Muppets. They don't.
Not so good.
Yeah, like the Kermit Fozzie. Like he's got a Muppet of his own, but it's not made well. Interrogation room, who knows? Maybe that'll be used in the future. Got a lot of blank assets. Use this for what's his nuts. There's the murder weapon. Here, you've maybe seen this before.
Oh, man.
There's the alt. Another alt. There's me. And now you're getting to the, obviously, the modern days of people high-fiving on a hill.
Yeah.
So here's my 90s shoes. I wanted some 90s in your face. These are obviously disgusting, but AI, baby. And that's it. Now we're at the end. So, what a ride. I realized the last 20 minutes, 40 minutes, was just me making you look at all the shit that I made, and I apologize for that. But at least we had something toward the beginning that might be useful to somebody. Oh, yeah, Venus. Ugh. The next mutation was terrible. Whatever. I'm not going to point fingers and be like, gender equality is not where things need to be. I don't care if there's a lady turtle. Don't give her boobs. She's not a mammal.
Right.
Venus. Don't need those.
She's got a shell.
Unless, like, she was tucked in between the tits of someone before she fell out into the ooze, then maybe I'll buy it. Depending on the timeline. Because in the Michael Bay shit, none of that's whatever. I'm not here to complain about that. We already did that. So I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Like if you're seeing this in the future, like if you're not seeing this live, let me know what you think, because maybe I'm overlooking something, because again, I'm not very close to this. I don't feel like I've got a dog in this hunt, because if AI art disappeared, I would, just find other public domain bullshit to clip out.
Right.
Like there's always going to be ways to circumvent the things that just make it easier based on now it's just like technology is making things easier.
Yeah, even like I said before, Canva, when you type in that you want something, it searches the things for you.
Right. And there's an app out there among all the AI apps, because you got AI art, you can talk to a chatbot, AI can do anything, but there's one out there in addition to the VO, but like you give it a prompt and it'll write a story. And the example that is always marketed to me in the material that I see is like the stupidest example. It's like, what if Super Mario were like indicted of war crimes? And then there's just this text flying by about how Mario's indicted for war crimes. And I go, really? So, but that's just it. It's like, we go to art, whether you think this cognitively or not, you go to art to make a connection with another person. You read a book, or you have a favorite author or a favorite artist because you make a connection with them through their material.
Right.
And I don't think AI will ever get that right, because what we like about art is the things that each person brings, the intricacies, the flaws, the etc. So I don't think you'll ever be able to program something to produce something that follows the theory and the rules, colloquially, of art, but also put in that human element.
Oh,
that isn't just a random number generator.
No,
there will always be something off. There will always be something hollow. And that's the thing about it, is like, when you look at a children's coloring book and you see a picture of a dog or a cat, and you know that someone probably had to draw that, but you go, who gives a fuck? Like, it's clip art. And even if someone didn't draw it, maybe it's disposable. It's throwaway. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what this is now, where it's like, it is at the point where maybe it's taking over the lowest of the low rungs.
Do you think, not to like extend the live even longer for this kind of stuff, but do you think that the issues that it gives in these photos is the people, the programmers and the program, trying to give it like a not perfect?
That's the thing. I kind of postulated on there earlier. I don't know if it's because all and sundry are on the table because we don't know.
Yeah.
Is it intentional program bugs? Is it unintentional? Is it even intended? Was it even a thought? Like, that's the thing. You give something to someone else to find the flaws that you don't see. Because when you're making something, you're making it for the use that you expressly know how to use it for. So if you hand a tool to someone else, they're going to fucking shove it in their nose and bang their head with it and do all kinds of things that you never expected because they have no idea how the tool, the game, movie, etc. And that's just it. There's always going to be a human element that will be missing from anything generated by a program, no matter how close or imperceptible. There's always going to be those fine lines. There's always going to be somebody out there whose eye can tell or whatever. It doesn't matter. I just think instinctively, and again, you can be fooled as a human. We're not a perfect machine or instrument. I think art that has a message comes from a person, and an AI isn't going to have any subtext.
Yeah.
You can pick apart something infinitely, but the game is in the chase, right? If you're running through the woods with a fox 40 feet ahead of you, you're looking to get that fox because it's a wily thing. If someone winds up a toy, puts it down, and it runs off into the woods, and they go get it, boy. You go, what the, why?
It's true.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Part of our experience is the unpredictability, but in such a way that is predictable and familiar. And I don't think that any artificial intelligence is going to fully adopt, because again, the human brain is far and away, not even in the same realm as a computer.
Yeah.
So it would just, because when you are asked a question and your mind delivers you an answer, you don't know where that came from. It was a bunch of processes that you're not cognizant of, but it did its work and delivered you a thing. Whereas if you had to sit and think linearly like a computer has to, because it doesn't have a subconscious or anything subliminal, it would have to go over each piece of data byte by byte. And how much data do you go over?
Yeah.
And what data do you go over? Thank God our brains do that automatically. A computer's going to have to go, well, the most likely if-then scenario. Whereas a human, ideally, is going to be spontaneous and organic and make something and possibly fuck it up, but work that fuck up into the thing that they're making. They're not going to leave the fuck ups wholesale like AI does and be like, well, I fucked up and I can't think on the fly. So here is your fucking flamingo with 9 heads or a toad with 6 arms.
You have 3 more tries.
Yeah. And, try again tomorrow. I've said this about many different things, but I think it always comes back to that principle is like we're always going to want to interact with each other. No amount of online shopping is going to kill brick and mortar. No amount of Photoshop is going to kill actual photography. No amount of anything is going to kill anything else because there's going to be room for it in an infinite space. Will it make waves and possibly and or potentially and or actually screw something up that would have existed if it didn't? Sure. But you do that every day. You exist because you eat things that existed before you and they sacrifice themselves to you. So if we're going to say, yeah, we got to keep moving forward as a society, somebody's going to have to get et up. I just don't think anybody's actually getting eaten here.
No.
Or at least on a huge scale that was that would warrant like a massive outcry. Because like, you think, like here's an extreme, right? On the spectrum of possibilities of AI art, you got me on a 1, right? Using it for the free assets. And that's it. It looks like crap because it is crap and I use it and it's crappy. And then you've got somebody like a AAA producer like DC or Marvel or any comic book or anything that relies on human generated art. Do you think anybody in their right mind at Marvel or DC would go like, you know what? let's let Dolly 2.0 handle the next Hulk. Right?
Just sit back and watch.
I don't care how sophisticated AI gets, you're still going to need a human to make something that a human needs to make.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you'll get in one of those precious, maybe not precious is the right word, but like boutique or like bohemian or something, like a specialized industry. Like before commercialized brewing, you had to go to the person you knew who made wine or beer or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You can buy shit at the store. Can you still brew stuff at home? Yeah. Is there a huge industry for it? Yeah. Is it as big as it was before Budweiser or, any of the people who offer it on a commercial level existed? No. But they're only serving the people who wouldn't have done it anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like if it were down to like, hey, if you want booze from now on, you got to make it yourself. The amount of alcoholics would go down sharply.
Yep.
But here we are. Wonder AI is kind of like Budweiser. It's serving me, the pleb, who just wants a quick buzz. I'm a scumbag.
I just want a
It
frog
doesn't matter.
with 7 toes.
I just want a fucked up toad in a Halloween sweater. That's all there is to it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you showing up. If you didn't, how dare you? No, just kidding. You can't see this if you didn't show up. But I want to say thank you to everybody who did show up. I want to plug next week's show, which will be Baked Salmon, and we are going to be breaking down Kenneth Brinkman's processing footage from the original To Catch a Predator. Check out his breakdown of the interview with Chris Hansen if you haven't yet. Worth its weight in gold. But yeah, I guess that's it. I feel like I wanted to recommend something, but I didn't write it down, so it's not getting recommended. Thank you, everybody, so much for showing up once again. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week for another episode of FFOP Radio. And like I said, catch you then, bros and brosettes.
Bye.
Or they try to.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.